Hey, welcome to another Lego video. I will start off by prefacing and saying I'm totally aware that my lighting is terrible. I am currently working on that and trying to make my video making setup better than it already is. But I had this cool idea that I wanted to feature on my channel. This is not necessarily a complete build. I know it looks strange right here, but I will turn it around in a minute and you'll get the idea of what it is. But this was something that I really enjoyed building, but I put this together kind of as a prototype to explain this idea. So in my mind, it's not quite a finished build that warrants a full build tour and explanation, but the technique is something that's really fun. Something I did want to share. So I'm sort of explaining the technique rather than the actual build, but I made it sort of in a method that's fun to look at. So I have a lot of gray pieces. Naturally, I build lots of castles. I love landscapes. I do armored vehicles, all kinds of stuff like that. But I put these together, and I've seen this done before. This is not personally an original idea, but it's kind of an original take on it. But what I've put together is an underground goblin bridge. Now, I put this together fairly quickly, so there's parts of it that look a little rushed. I may have done more detail on the top here or sanctioned these a little bit better. But this is the build that I did to explain sort of this idea, because this is a really fun idea, and I really encourage people who have maybe a surplus of these stone pieces to give this a try. And I'll say it again, I'm aware the lighting is not awesome. I would try to get plenty of angles of it, and I will try to pull this roof off later so that we can see the inside also. So this is a really fun idea. Like I said, I've seen this places before, but I love doing this personally myself. You may have seen a little bit of this in my shelled out farmhouse build, but completely clean cut edges that lead into sort of a very natural environment that's a lot more sporadic and interesting on the inside. So right here I have a perfectly cut face right here that is a sort of a rectangular prism, and the ends are flush too. And it's got a hole that runs all the way through like a cavern with a bridge on it. So this was fun to put together. There, personally, there's a lot of, I think, imagination that can take a small space and make it into a larger feeling build, because you ultimately could build this super high up and make like a really big mine shaft or something. This is just an example of how I like to do this. Now, I wanted to make this a little bit interactive because I did have an idea for it. So I actually made a pull pin right here that moves a small stone that swings the bridge out. So that's a lot of fun. I personally love doing functions and traps and things. I plan to feature probably some more traps on my channel. I even had an idea to try to make Lego quicksand. That's still in the running. I have no idea how that's going to go. I thought this was a decent explanation of it. But it's all rough rock on the inside where everything's pointing in. And it looks sort of like it was carved out of the earth, which it was the impression I was trying to give, because I was a fan of The Hobbit and Goblin Town especially. I even have a lot of the Lego Hobbit Goblin figures, and I made lots of my own Goblin Town features and extensions to the original set, because I did have the original Lego set. But I'm a fan of these rock pieces and making it look like it was kind of hewn from the earth. So I did that in two ways, where I did it on the bottom here, where it has sort of a bowl of like decimated bones down here. And then I did it another way where I have two rock entrances, and I'll show it from this other side, that go through as like a tunnel. So I thought this was really fun. You could always expand on this too if you wanted to build it higher or bigger. This is just a demonstration of sort of this idea that was a quick put together. However, this bridge was really fun to do. It's really interactive and it works really well. I have a sort of a rock piece that juts in and out that looks pretty natural but does pull, and it connects to this brown pin right here. I think I probably could have done it better, but I personally thought it was okay for the video. So in my mind, this is not a complete build. I am also a perfectionist, so people might look at this and be like, no, that's pretty awesome. But you could also do, stalagmites and stalactites up on the top and things like that to really emphasize the caviness. Or I was considering doing like a troll cave, or like you could do like a spider's den, or you could do a big, I had originally built this as I did a big mine shaft where I had a really tall one, and I did a running rope up and down with a bucket on it, or a lift that you could carry people up and down on. So I'm gonna pull off the top here, and I'm going to try to show what the inside of this looks like so that we can look at the bridge function, and then I'm going to attempt to put it back together for one more explanation. So I have removed the roof here, none too gracefully, I might add, but it doesn't really matter. I just did it to kind of cut away and show what the inside of this looks like, because it really does wonders to be able to see what is actually going on. So the actual bridge function is very smooth. I'm really happy with it, but it's fun to watch it in action. I maybe would have made this bottom a little bit lower because, again, I kind of considered this last second, but I would have considered this to be a little bit wider, more bowl-shaped, because it kind of throws the guys out all the way. But I have a wandering adventurer here. It's actually Emmett, the construction worker from the Lego movie, with sort of a bone torch here. And he wears a face of concern, which is delightful. But I made some smooth patches here so that I could set the guy up and then ultimately pull the pin and drop him into his inevitable doom. So this is a lot of fun play features. Again, I did this just to sort of a demonstration for not only this rock idea, but also like what you can do with sort of a small space, because this is not tremendously large, but it has lots of imagination and adventure features, because you could do spikes down here, or you could do like a swamp water or something. I don't really know. But I kind of made a lot with this specific space. Or you can make a bunch that pin together and go long ways and do a bridge after bridge after bridge and something in between, or all kinds of stuff. But I personally just didn't have enough pieces to keep going and make it super big, but I think it gets the point across. So this is a fun method I like to use, a way that I like to build. And I did want to feature something like this on the channel. And I may do more builds like this in the future that are like completed builds. Again, this is kind of just a prototype, but I think it gets the point across of what you could do. But the imagination level is endless. You know, it's really fun to be able to have traps or moving functions. Personally, at least for myself, those are things that I love to build in. And I do have one of the Hobbit goblins here as well. Man, that lighting is so bad, but I do have one of the Hobbit goblins. And but you could do all kinds of stuff. You could say it's a man-made bridge used to catch goblins, or you could say the goblins made it to fall just so that it could catch other goblins, or you could say one of these guys cut it while they were fighting on there and then completely killed both of them. So it's fun. It's a cool feature. I think it looks really interesting, and the fact that it's sort of like a cell, almost like a geode, sort of cut out of the earth, clean on the sides but rough on the inside, is a really cool thing to look at and to kind of experience. So yeah, this is it. If you liked it, do what you will. Feel free to check out other things that I've made as well. I love doing stuff like this and sharing the way that I think and how I like to build. So this is kind of a delight of mine to be able to sort of share even general ideas and not completed builds on my channel. So this is it. This is my goblin bridge. It's got a fun trap feature, and like I said, I plan to do more traps on the channel. So if people like this kind of stuff, let me know. I'm probably going to make more stuff regardless, but that's kind of the plan.